Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moment. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Swallowed Star 2 episode number 63 based on novel. So let's start. When Luofeng was concentrating on practicing, a transcendent being from the Chaos Realm came to Chudu. A villa of Marquis Chufeng. Senior brother is here. The handsome three-eyed man looked into the distance and stood up immediately. Chufeng, who also stood up and looked, and saw a figure in the distance approaching in a trance. This figure was wearing a dark robe, which was simple but slightly damaged. At first glance, it was a damaged dark robe, but a closer look gave the impression that it was a damaged dark world. The figure had blue scales on his face, making him look ugly, but his eyes were calm and gentle, as if they contained the world of heaven and earth. When he walked over, he naturally affected the surrounding environment of heaven and earth, as if the movement of heaven and earth revolved around him. Mastering one branch of the Origin Avenue can make you a God King. The complete Origin Avenue of life can evolve the laws of the original universe. And the branches of the Avenue are also sufficient to maintain the operating laws of the small universe. In this way, the God King can create a small universe. The God Kings all operated according to the laws of the universe and possessed all kinds of incredible abilities. When this dark-robed figure came over, the world was centered around him, which was a common vision for the God Kings. Mansion Master Yuanxiu is only at the Chaos Realm Transcendence, but he can affect the operation of heaven and earth. He is even more terrifying than the last time I saw him. Chufeng, who was secretly shocked, and immediately stepped forward to greet him. Senior brother, this is Chufeng Hu Qingxiu. The three-eyed man stepped forward and said with a smile. Chufeng greets the palace master. Marquis Chufeng was quite humble. Chaos Realm Transcendence is equivalent to the existence of the first level of God King. This kind of existence does not care much about the first-class marquises. Only the first-class marquises ask for their share. Whether to pay attention to the first-class marquises depends on their mood. The last time I saw Marquis Chufeng, he was still a second-class marquis. Palace Master Yuanxiu smiled. Now he is already a first-class marquis. To have cultivated to this level with an ordinary divine body, Marquis Chufeng is indeed amazing. Your Majesty, you are too kind. Please take a seat. Marquis Chufeng said enthusiastically. Soon the three of them were seated and a waiter brought them drinks and food. I heard that the palace master came to Chu capital this time to visit the divine king, asked Chufeng Hu. This time I came to Chudu. I do intend to pay a visit to the God King. But I heard that there is now a Chaos Realm Transcendent in Chudu, named the Great Sage Luohe. Palace Master Yuanxiu was obviously quite interested. Chufeng Hu nodded. This Great Sage Luohe is very mysterious, and he rarely attacks. Previously, he defeated 5 peak Chaos Realm Masters alone, which made the outside world know his true strength. Palace Master Yuanxiu said, he is so low-key, it seems that he is also focused on cultivation. Marquis Chufeng, I want to meet this Great Sage Luohe to discuss the Tao. I would like to ask Marquis Chufeng to help arrange it and see if the Great Sage Luohe is willing. Marquis Chufeng was shocked. He is not afraid of the Chaos Realm Transcendence asking him for help. What he is afraid of is the Chaos Nature Transcendence, who is too lazy to pay attention to him. Don't worry, my lord, I will make sure to arrange this matter properly, said Marquis Chufeng. During Luofeng's training, he would occasionally come out to relax. Master Chufeng Hu once came to visit me personally. Morosa told Luofeng, Master, you were in seclusion at that time, so I didn't disturb you. He came to visit? Luofeng was surprised. After all, Chufeng Hu was also a first-class marquis of the royal family. When he went into seclusion, this first-class marquis also left. He was quite well behaved. Did you talk about what happened? Luofeng asked. Morosa said, Chufeng Hu also said that his good friend Master Yuanxiu wants to host a banquet to entertain the master and discuss the Tao with the master. He came to visit you to see if you are willing to attend the banquet to discuss the Tao. Discussing the Tao? Palace Master Yuanxiu? Luofeng naturally knew that there were only 2 Chaos Realm Transcendents in the lineage of Emperor Chu. One of them was Marquis Minghua, a direct disciple of Emperor Chu, and the other was Palace Master Yuanxiu, a direct disciple of the ruler of the first-class country Wanjie. There are 3 first-class forces in the entire origin continent, namely Qianmu Kingdom, Wanjie Kingdom, and Dongji Territory. The East Pole region is the last place where the most primitive indigenous people of the origin continent survive. These indigenous people are indeed inferior in wisdom and understanding, but when they gather together, they are enough to form a first-class force. The reason why Qianmu Kingdom has a top-level exotic beast is because of it. The Wanjie Kingdom was created because of the Wanjie Lord, who single-handedly made the country a first-rate force. The Wanjie Lord was naturally one of the top beings on the origin continent. The Lord of 10,000 Worlds has many disciples, some of them are guests in the ancient Kingdom of Thunder, and some are guests in the ancient Kingdom of Flame Wind. Master, do you want to attend the banquet to discuss the Tao? Asked Morosa. Promise them. Luo Feng nodded. Luo Feng was also very interested in the discussion of a strong man of the same level. After all, people like Lord Yuanxiu who have achieved the Chaos Realm transcendence through the cultivation of chaotic objects or chaotic bloodline are the norm in the origin continent. This is also a chance to see the difference between me and them. The famous 13 Stars Hall in Chu City was the place where Lord Yuanxiu held a banquet to entertain the great sage Luohe. The 13 emperors of the ancient country of Yangfeng had once gathered in Chu City. That time, Lord Yuanxiu personally built the 13 Stars Hall. After the 13 emperors came here, the 13 Stars Hall naturally became famous, and holding a banquet here was also very expensive. This time it was arranged by the Marquis of Chu, so everything was naturally done in a grand manner. It is so rare for 2 Chaos Realm Transcendents to discuss the Tao. I heard that except for Marquis Chu Yuan, the other 6 first-class marquises are all here for the banquet. It's a pity that we are not qualified to see it. Some chefs who were preparing food were discussing quietly. They were all famous chefs in Chudu, and each of them was at the level of eternal true God. There was even a Chaos Realm chef who was personally invited by Chu Fenghu and was in another pavilion. Sister Yu, I tried my best to arrange for you to perform in front of the palace today. A chubby man asked. Today, all the high-level people from all sides of the entire Chu capital have gathered. 6 of the 7 first-class marquises have come, and there are even 2 Chaos Realm Transcendent Divine King's direct disciples, and there are more than 10 people. As long as one of them takes a fancy to you and is willing to help you, you can get out of this predicament. Thank you so much, Lord Chula. If it weren't for your help, I probably wouldn't be alive today, said a woman in green. Alas, I am a third-rank Marquis of the royal family and have no rights at all. The chubby man shook his head. In Chudu, I can't catch up with those powerful Chaos Realm masters. The royal family of Emperor Chu has 29 marquises, and only 2 of them have ordinary chaos strength. This Chula Hu is one of them. For the royal family, the supply of royal resources is the weakest, and ordinary Chaos Sutra is naturally waste and has no training value. Luo Feng's Galaxy Blade Light has the Chaos Realm middle-level extreme burning divine power, and the power of a full-strength attack is much stronger than that of Chula Hu. Chula Hu is also used to this kind of life. He prefers to enjoy himself and has made many like-minded friends. Let me remind you, the chubby man said, one of the 2 most powerful chaos transcendents at this banquet is called Luo Hidashen, and he really likes to listen to music. The blue-clothed woman's eyes lit up. This is the secret information of the great sage Luo He. I spent a lot of cosmic sand to buy it. The chubby man said, when he was in Huyang City, he was very fond of the 2 musicians who were good at music. If your music this time can make him like it, your position in Chudu will be secure. Thank you, Marquis Chule. The woman in green was grateful. That's all I can do. It's up to you from now on. The chubby man waved his hand and left. The woman in green was waiting here patiently, as he was not the only one performing at this banquet. Those who entered the main hall for this banquet were 6 first-class royal marquises, 8 second-class royal marquises, 9 guest officials, 15 disciples of the God King, and their followers. Of course, the 2 most core positions in the main hall are prepared for the 2 Chaos Mirror Transcendences. Here I come. The great sage Luo He is here. The main purpose of this banquet is to entertain the great sage Luo He. When Luo Feng and Di Chuyu arrived together, they naturally attracted attention from all sides. The families of some royal third-class marquises, first-class marquises, and second-class marquises, as well as the idle Chaos Realm people were all in the side hall. Some servants and waiters were looking forward to it and saw the figure of the man in black appear from afar. When the man in black appeared, Di Chuyu stood slightly behind. Outside the main hall, Lord Yuanxiu showed up and greeted them in person. Brother Luo He. Palace Master Yuan Xiu looked at Luo Feng with a smile. Brother Yuan Xiu. Luo Feng also smiled as he looked at the Chaos Mirror's transcendental being. The other person was dressed in dark robes, and he was faintly the center of the operation of the laws of heaven and earth. It can affect the operation of the laws of heaven and earth. Luo Feng sighed secretly. This was something he could not do. Just talking about the realm of Tao, he was still not as good as these Chaos Realm transcendents. Palace Master Yuan Xiu was also observing Luo Feng. His most powerful weapon was the dark prison that he cultivated inside his body. With a single thought, he could imprison the vast world and all things around him. What a terrifying body! When Palace Master Yuan Xiu saw Luo Feng, he felt that this man in black with an ordinary aura was completely restrained, but much heavier than the vast world around him. It was extremely heavy. It would be very difficult to drag him into the Dark Palace. With Palace Master Yuan Xiu's realm, even if they hadn't fought, he could have made some inferences just by looking at him. His body is much more solid than some ancient beings who have just entered the Divine King realm. Palace Master Yuan Xiu said secretly. Brother Luo He, please. Both Yuan Xiu Mansion Master and Luo Feng were very polite. They were just discussing the Tao this time, so both sides were very polite. If it was a fight, it would be completely different. The two of them walked into the main hall together. Many of the first-class marquises, second-class marquises, guests, and disciples of the God King in the hall all stood up to greet them. Then, everyone took their seats. Let's have a feast. Chu Fenghu ordered. The banquet officially began. There were delicious food, fine wine, and fruit served. Luo Feng tasted it and was a little surprised. The weakest of these delicacies was at the level of the Black Butcher at the Fire Realm restaurant. Some delicacies are even better than the Black Butcher. A plate of seemingly ordinary food looks like the essence of heaven and earth, which is very appetizing. Luo Feng took a bite and felt the effect of this delicacy on his soul, which even surpassed many rare treasures in the world. His perception of everything became much sharper, which was of great benefit to his spiritual practice. Brother Yu's cooking skills are getting better and better. Palace Master Yuan Xiu took a bite and praised. Cooking skills, it's really amazing to reach the Chaos Realm in one go. Luo Feng also knew that Yu Jiufeng, Chaos Realm guest from the Dichu lineage, was only at the top of the Chaos Realm, but he reached the Chaos Realm through his cooking skills. He is the best cook in the whole Chu city. You two guests are too kind. Yu Jiufeng also entered the hall at this moment. He was arrogant towards some royal lords, but he was very humble when facing the two Chaos Realm transcendents. Many delicacies, rare spiritual fruits, and precious wines were continuously served. Those who can perform dance, music, and songs at the banquet are at least those who have reached the level of eternal true gods through this path. Those with weak strength will be affected by these performances and find it difficult to control themselves. Luo Feng, they can watch it with ease and joy. As expected of Chudu, there are several performers today whose musical skills are better than that of the owner of Menghua Tower. Luo Feng was amazed and thought to himself, I can use this to practice the 7 emotions heart-refining technique in the future. The guests in the main hall of this banquet were all high-ranking officials of Chu City. Like Yu Jiufeng, although he was only a top Chaos Realm Master, it was very rare to find a top Chaos Realm Master in the origin continent. The God Kings often invited him, so he was naturally very picky. Even if the royal family invited him, he might not agree. But this time, it was a discussion banquet between two Chaos Realm transcendents. Yu Jiufeng is very self-aware and can act arrogantly in front of those people in the Chaos Realm and those royal dukes. But to the God King, who was beyond the Chaos Realm, he kept a very humble attitude. Brother Luo he. Palace Master Yuan Shou smiled as he sat there. I have been cultivating for a long time, mainly to build a dark palace prison. Today I will use some dark palace methods to learn from Brother Luo he. The guests in the main hall immediately realized that the core of the banquet had arrived. It is very rare for them to see a confrontation of this level. I will focus on my physical training, so I will use some physical means to compete with Brother Yuan Shou. Luo Feng nodded. The Lord of Yuan Shou Palace nodded. His dark robe was a little damaged, just like a damaged dark world. At this moment, a little dark flame began to spread from the robe. This dark flame spread towards Luo Feng in the main hall. This is the fire of the Dark Palace, which can be used to burn the divine body and soul of the prisoners in the Dark Palace. Luo Feng looked at the dark flames, and immediately black liquid began to spread over his black robe. The black liquid swept over like a stream of water and quickly touched the dark flames. Hiss, 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 the dark flame burns. The black liquid quickly covered and enveloped the flame, and every flame was wrapped in black liquid. This black liquid is the Black Abyss transformation method in the form of yin and yang particles. It seems that the amount of black liquid that has spread is not much, but in fact, it has spread to over 100 million units. Luo Feng was very clear about the advantage of his transformation method, winning by quantity. Their robes are both extraordinary. Palace Master Yuan Shou's robe can turn into Dark Palace fire? Great Sage Luo, his robe can also extend out black liquid? This black liquid envelops all the dark fires. The fire of the Dark Palace is inextinguishable, and the black liquid can also easily trap the fire of the Dark Palace. The first-class and second-class marquises of the royal family, guests of the Chaos Realm, and disciples of the God King all had extraordinary vision and were aware of the terrifying methods of both sides. The Dark Palace fire was well known, and most peak Chaos Realm masters did not dare to resist it head-on, as they would be burned into nothingness if they did. This Luo, her great sage, is even more of a Chaos Realm transcendent who specializes in cultivating his physical body. All parties know that Chaos Realm transcendents who specialize in cultivating their physical body are indestructible at the Chaos Realm level. What kind of secret method is this black liquid? Palace Master Yuan Shou exclaimed. He could sense that the fire of the Dark Mansion could not harm the black liquid at all. In fact, as long as Luo Feng was willing, the black liquid could wrap and crush the flames and annihilate them. Because Luo Feng had already tried to annihilate a few strands, Lord Yuan Shou realized the horror of these black liquids. Luo Feng smiled and said, "It can be called the Black Abyss water." Luo Feng knew very well that if there was only one unit of the Black Abyss transformation method, it would definitely be burned and disintegrated, but hundreds of millions of units swept over, naturally occupying an absolute advantage. The Black Abyss water, the Lord of Yuan Shou Palace knew clearly, it was very powerful. The many guests watching were also secretly shocked. The Dark Palace fire, the reputation needs no further explanation, but this Black Abyss water, it seems not inferior in the slightest. Suddenly, the fire in the Dark Palace retreated and all shrank back into the dark robe of Palace Master Yuan Shou. Luo Feng thought, and all the hundreds of millions of units of black liquid were taken back. I have an axe that gathers the power of the Dark Palace and can kill the prisoners of the Dark Palace. The Lord of the Palace said, and suddenly the surrounding sky and earth darkened, and a huge axe blade loomed, like a punishment from heaven. This is also one of my strongest moves. I like swordplay. It's also one of my strongest moves for killing enemies head-on. Luo Feng waved his hand, and 80,000 galaxy sword lights condensed into an equally huge sword light. The 13 Stars Hall was the gathering place for the 13 Emperors. With the terrifying formation in operation, there was no worry that the aftermath of the two Chaos Mirror Transcendence fight would affect other guests. They were both at their strongest level. Not knowing who was stronger, the guests watched nervously, and some guests in the side halls did not even have the qualifications to watch the fight. They only knew that the fight had already begun in the main hall. The huge axe blade like a heavenly punishment slowly descended. The speed was not fast, but the power was hard to resist. Cut. Luo Feng's mind moved, and the huge sword light condensed from 80,000 galaxy sword lights met with a sword river slash. Mobilizing so many galaxy sword lights at the same time, and performing the exquisite moves of the Chaos Realm level, was a great burden on Luo Feng's mind and will. This was indeed his most extreme long-range attack move. The axe blade collided with the knife light. At the moment of collision, a huge shadow of a dark prison appeared faintly behind the axe blade, as if the power of the entire world was blessing it, and it also brought with it the power of annihilation, penetration, and heavenly punishment, making the axe blade extremely terrifying. Luo Feng's huge sword light was like 80,000 Chaos Mirror mid-level warriors, burning their divine power to the limit at the same time, and attacking with all their strength, and it was slashed according to the artistic conception of the River of Swords. This power was too terrifying. Today's River of Swords is a fusion of the mysteries of slashing the sky with 72 swords, splitting the sky with one lineage, and dark sky with one lineage. Although it is very simplified, it has the artistic conception of splitting one into two. Wow! The huge axe blade was cut by the sword light and broke in the middle. However, Luo Feng's huge sword light was not a complete weapon secret treasure, but the sword light of 80,000 galaxies gathered. Many cracks appeared under such a collision, but they condensed and merged again in an instant. The huge axe blade also healed after it was cracked. This was the condensation of the power of the dark world, and it was not a weapon secret treasure either. I admire you. Palace Master Yuan Xiao praised. Awesome. Luo Feng also noticed the difference between them. The huge axe blade was far less powerful than his own sword, but it could easily find the flaws of his sword light and quickly lock onto 80,000 galaxy. The sword light was not one it could penetrate naturally, splitting the 80,000 galaxy sword light. Even in one confrontation, his 80,000 galaxy sword light annihilated 3. Of course, he also had a huge reserve of galaxy transformation methods. All of my methods come from the Dark Palace. Palace Master Yuan Xiao said, the Dark Palace is also my strongest method. Brother Luo He, do you dare to go in and give it a try? Luo Feng smiled, I dare not. Palace Master Yuan Xiao was startled. It was just a competition, and it was in the 13 Stars Palace, and in the capital of Chu, so he naturally had to follow the rules. But I can allocate some of my strength to test the power of the Dark Palace. Luo Feng said as he waved his hand. Suddenly, billions of units of each of the 5 transformation methods flew out and finally condensed into a silver figure. Okay. Palace Master Yuan Xiao showed a look of joy, and immediately looked at the silver figure, and immediately wanted to use the Dark Palace to capture and imprison him. Buzz! The terrifying power of the Dark Palace world enveloped the silver figure, trying to drag it into the Dark Palace. But the silver figure stood there, as if fixed there, and could not be dragged or shaken. Boom, boom, be careful! The dragging force of the dark world exploded with full force, causing the surrounding space to distort into chaos. The guests under the protection of the 13-star palace formation were looking at the scene in front of them in shock. The scene of the Dark Palace erupting with all its might is a rare sight. You can't even pull it? The Dark Palace is a prison world cultivated within the main body of Yuanxiu Palace. If you are imprisoned in it, it will be difficult to get out. But the Dark Palace can't imprison the silver light body that Law her great sage condensed by part of his power? Under the watch of all parties, Luo Feng seemed calm, but in fact his mind and consciousness were focused on the body of silver light, resisting the drag of the dark world. The dragging force of the dark world is very mysterious and can affect the mind and consciousness. However, Luo Feng, the second level of the God King, combined with the legendary art, ignored this influence. The dragging force of the world is huge, which can accumulate 5 billion units of the silver body of the transformation method. The power is slightly shaken and it breaks free. Brother Luo, his method of body refining is incredible. Palace Master Yuan Xiao praised, I can't trap him in the Dark Palace, so the Dark Palace world can only descend on its own initiative. Buzz! A dark world descended from nothingness into reality. This was the Dark Palace where the master of Yuanxiu Palace cultivated. It could be inside the body or released outside. If released outside, the power would be slightly reduced. At this moment, it had already taken the initiative to descend upon the silver body that enveloped Luo Feng. The dark mansion world enveloped the silver light body, and the restraints on it were greatly increased. 8 chains were wrapped around it. These 8 chains were of 8 colors, with various secret patterns and imprints, and contained the power of the chaotic origin. These were the 8 prison chains formed by the Lord of Yuanxiu Mansion melting the chaotic origin materials into the dark prison. When Luo Feng felt the 8 chains restraining him, he was also sealed, suppressed, restrained, strangled, penetrated, and torn apart. All kinds of power penetrated his power incarnation. The power of the silver light body exploded, and the 8 chains were extremely tough and not damaged at all. Humph! The silver body suddenly grew larger, stretching the 8 chains to a larger size, but it still couldn't break. My transformation method is invisible, but after being bound by 8 chains, not a single unit of my transformation method can escape. Luo Feng looked at it in surprise. I can only rely on brute force to resist. The silver body became tall and majestic, hanging above the roof of the main hall. All the strength in its body burst out, but it still could not break free of the 8 prison chains. Brother Yuanxiu's secret palace is indeed powerful. My incarnation of power cannot break free. Luo Feng said with emotion. I can't even drag Brother Luo his power incarnation into the dark palace. Even if I'm chained, I still can't hurt a power incarnation. Palace Master Yuanxiu said, but he was secretly shocked. He practiced secret techniques and used the primordial materials to build this dark prison. Who would have thought that this great Saint Luo his body had been cultivated to such a level that he couldn't even completely imprison a power incarnation in the dark palace? I can trap his incarnation, but I can't hurt it. What if it's his real body? It's still unclear whether I can trap him or not. Mansion Master Yuanxiu was also certain of the terrifying nature of the physical body in front of him. The Lord of Yuanxiu Palace took back the dark palace world with a thought. Luo Feng also took back the power avatar. Such a huge power avatar, he could only use it at close range. After all, he didn't have the clone technique, and he could only barely descend a ray of divine power from a distance. After all, this power avatar has 5 billion units of transformation method, but it can't break free from the chains. The power of this avatar is also 20 to 30% of the real body. Luo Feng thought the total amount of transformation method he maintained now is 20 billion units. If the real body is trapped, it may not be able to break free. This confrontation also made Luo Feng understand the terrifyingness of these normal Chaos Realm transcendents. This dark prison was finally successfully refined with the help of the Han Yuan material. Ordinary god kings who were imprisoned only took some time to escape, and could not hurt this dark prison at all. This time, I discussed Tao with Brother Luo He, and I saw the power of the Chaos Realm transcendence of the physical body lineage. The head of Yuanxiu Mansion raised his glass. Please. Please. Luo Feng also raised his glass. The other guests in the main hall were shocked when the two of them exchanged ideas. The strength of these two people is indeed far beyond the realm of Chaos Realm, that is the realm of God King, and even a little power can annihilate them. The banquet finally dispersed in a friendly atmosphere. The news about this confrontation also spread rapidly in Chengdu. This video will end here.